参加国务院联防联控机制举办的新闻发布会。习近平总书记要求，继续研究出台阶段性、有针对性的减税降费政策，加大对一些
taxation reduction policies and offer more support to industries which are resuming the operation and helping the SMEs to overcome the difficulties. The theme of today's press conference is to strengthen the support to sectors which are severely affected by the epidemic. We have with us DG Xian Guoyi from Ministry of Commerce, DG Liu Kezhi from Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and Mr. Peng Weiyong, Deputy Director General from General Administration of Sport. They will take questions concerning the relevant sectors. And we have also with us Research Fellow Professor Feng Lu Zhao from China CDC. Let me give you some updates. Between 0 and 24 o'clock yesterday, China's mainland reported for newly increased confirmed cases 406, new deaths 52. All of them were in Hubei. Newly increased suspected cases 439. Newly increased cured and discharged cases 2,422. Close contacts removed from medical observation 14,573. Severe cases are dropped by 374. By the end of yesterday, based on the reports from the provinces and the Xinjiang Production and Construction Corp, there have been confirmed cases 45604, including 8752 severe cases. In total, there are 29,745 cases cured and discharged. Deaths 2715. Reported confirmed cases 78064. And 2,491 suspected cases. In total, 647406 close contacts were traced, and 79108 close contacts are still under medical observation. For Hubei, the newly increased confirmed cases 401, including 370 in Wuhan. For new cured and discharged cases, 2,058, including 1,456 in Wuhan. For new fatal cases, 52, including 42 in Wuhan. There have been confirmed cases 410,660, including 33,563 in Wuhan, including 8,326 severe cases, which includes 7,355 cases in Wuhan. In total, 20912 cases are cured and discharged, including 11793 in Wuhan. In total, there are 2615 death cases, including 2085 in Wuhan. Confirmed cases in total 65187, including 47441 in Wuhan. Newly increased suspected cases 311, including 242 in Wuhan. There have been suspected cases 2,067, including 1,447 in Wuhan. In total, the confirmed cases reported from Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan totaled 126, including 85 from Hong Kong SAR, 10 from Macau SAR, and 31 from Taiwan region. Excluding Hubei, the newly increased cases in China 5, suspected cases 182, and there is 0 fatal case. For severe cases, it is dropped by 25. With the strengthening of the medical resources and the optimization of the diagnostic and treatment protocols, we have seen more and more cured and discharged cases. For the next step, based on the close contacts tracing and the follow-up services, we will strengthen the analysis and come up with a fairly mature diagnostic and treatment protocol and provide experience sharing to the relevant countries and also technical support to them as needed. Now we will have the Q&A, and please focus on today's theme, and please identify yourself before you ask questions. Please put up hand with your question. First, the question on the left, on the front row. Thank you. From CNR, it is found that the epidemic has affected the hospitality sector, and some businesses mentioned that they cannot survive for another 3 months. So what are the measures adopted by Ministry of Commerce to help them? DG Xian, please. Thank you. For the hospitality industry, it is a major industry in China. In the year 2019, their revenue increased 5 trillion, exceeded 5 trillion, and they have created a lot of job opportunities for the country. So it is a key pillar sector in China. With the epidemic, many businesses in this sector are severely affected. The State Council and the Central Committee of the party have worked out policies to help them. Such policies include the VAT exemption for such companies, and for businesses outside Hubei province, they are contributions to the pension fund are exempted, and also the housing provision fund are exempted, and they can enjoy preferential treatment in terms of the electricity charge, and the financial institutions are encouraged to provide lendings to such businesses. And yesterday the policy came out that for the re-lending interest rate, it would be cut by another 0.5 percentage point. Furthermore, the hospitality sector has enjoyed the subsidies for the renting, and also subsidies for the resumption of work. And there have been coordination efforts made to facilitate the operation of the hospitality sector. According to our questionnaire survey among 4,000 businesses, by the end of yesterday, 22% of the businesses surveyed indicated that they have already enjoyed the subsidies, and many of them have already received funding support from the financial institutions. We are also aware that the businesses in the hospitality sector are mainly small ones, and they are faced with financial difficulties. So how can they get convenient access to funding and survive the epidemic? This needs continuous financial innovation from the relevant financial institutions. And also, it is expected that after the epidemic, the hospitality sector will recover soon. Therefore, the Ministry of Commerce is working with the relevant authorities to help the businesses in this sector. We are also working on the potential measures to revive the hospitality sector and realize green and sustainable development. Thank you. Let's continue. On the left, on the second row, the gentleman over there. Thank you. From peoples.com.cn, affected by the epidemic, many tourism agencies are faced with difficulties. Previously, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism has worked out policies to return the 50% guarantee fund to the travel agencies. What about the implementation of this policy, and are there any other policy measures to support them?
I'd like to invite Director General Liu Kezhi to take the question. After the outbreak of the epidemic, Ministry of Culture and Tourism, under the coordination of the Joint Prevention Control Mechanism, acted promptly in two aspects. First, with improved management and regulation over the culture and tourism places, all the cultural performances have been suspended. The venues and the theaters have stopped receiving such orders. The libraries and other museums and art museums have suspended its opening. The originally organized cultural events have been cancelled or postponed. Internet bars and other recreational activity venues have closed. The cultural performances and exchange performances have been suspended. Second, we've improved our regulation over tourism activities. Tourist agencies and online tourist agencies have suspended their businesses. Domestic and international inbound and outbound tourism activities have been suspended, and the seasides places have been closed as well to prevent the possible transmission through tourism. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, tourism sector was heavily dented. Tourist agencies had a difficult time. Ministry of Culture and Tourism paid great attention to the issue. On the 5th of February, we issued notice for returning part of the guarantee fund contribution to tourist agencies. For the licensed tourist agencies, 80% of the contribution to the guarantee fund can be refunded. Localities have set up dedicated agencies to deal with the issue, and they proactively reach the agencies to have the contribution refunded. According to statistics, 39,000 of tourist agencies are operating in China. By yesterday, 35,000 plus agencies, or 90% of the tourism agencies, have applied for the refunding with a total value of 8 billion RMB. Now 3.426 billion RMB have already been refunded to the accounts of tourist agencies. So for the short term, this helps to deal with the cash flow tightness. We've also adopted supportive measures to bail out some difficult agencies. We collaborated with NDRC, Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security, China Administration of Taxation, and PBOC to work out the supportive measures, including funding support, favorable financial policies, reduction in taxation, reduction of costs, and streamlining of government services. In particular, the postponing of the carryover deadline for the tourist and cultural entities that may suffer a loss in the year, and exempt of VAT, and exemption of the urban construction fees, and the loans that are applied must be guaranteed. Second, we've enhanced our support intensiveness. On the 6th of February, we collaborated with NDRC and issued the list of 3.3 billion plus RMB supported infrastructure projects for tourism activities, including 340 activities and projects. Besides, our ministry has published all these supportive policies and measures in different categories, targeting at different localities so that businesses will find it very convenient to look up for these favorable policies. Next question, please. Journalist from the third row on the right side. Thank you. With CCTV Group. the Tokyo Olympic game might be cancelled according to certain resources. Many track events and ball games have been postponed or delayed. Is there any statistics by the General Administration of Sport on the possible impact from the epidemic on the sports sector? I'd like to ask DDG Peng Wei-yong from the General Administration of Sport to take the question. Thank you. Yes, this epidemic has dented the sports sector. For example, sport events and performance have suspended many international events, including the indoor track events and also the Tokyo Winter Olympic Games. The pre-qualification games have been postponed or have been replaced to other places. Basketball, football, and volleyball games have been postponed. And the Asian Championship preparation games, the 40 top one among the Asian football champion games, and also the marathon, 50 marathon events that are very much liked by the Chinese public have been postponed. Second, for the sports venues, they are licensed, but they have suspended their businesses. For some outdoor stadiums and gymnasiums have suspended their businesses. And for the working out places, there is also a heavy dent. Related manufacturers have suspended and delayed their businesses. So we also see the impact. In face of the epidemic, General Administration of Sport has made active tries in the following aspects. First, we've started with some pilot city programs to ensure the opening of natural resources, the rescheduling of sports events to release more sports resources to the general public. Second, we encourage localities to innovate on supportive policies, including government procurement, arrangement of counterpart assistance fund. For example, the Shanghai local government has adopted 12 supportive measures, including subsidies to cancelled events and the reduction of the rental cost for stadiums and gymnasiums. Third, the leverage of big data, cloud computing, 5G technology, and blockchains to foster online working out and online sports event to nurture the new business format for the sports sector so as to upgrade the entire sports industry. Thank you. Next question, please. Journalist from the second row on the left side, please. Thank you. I'm from China Business News. We know that hospitality and hoteliers have to receive their customers in a face-to-face fashion. Therefore, there are difficulties in the personal protection. So my question is, for the hoteliers, what are the specific measures adopted to ensure personal protection? As the hoteliers are opening again, what are the precaution measures recommended to the hoteliers? I'd like to ask Director General Xian Guoyi to take the question. Hospitality industry have to receive customers face to face, and some have a cluster of people. Categorization of risk rating is needed in low-risk areas. The unreasonable restrictions should be lifted. For places with medium risks, parallel work should be carried out in prevention, control, and resumption of business. Minimize the clustering of people. And in high-risk places, still restrictions need to be rigorous.
The Ministry of Commerce has encouraged the relevant businesses' resumption of work while emphasizing the epidemic containment. We are trying to help the businesses to address the difficulties and also ensure the adequate supply of the PPEs. Together with the NHC, we have worked out a guidance document to ensure the adequate operation of the businesses in the hospitality sector, and specific guidances have been offered to the relevant sectors like the courier deliveries. Also, we have also worked out the implementation guidelines for the hotels and the relevant companies or businesses to guard against the epidemic. We found that these guidelines have strengthened the capacity of the hospitality sector as well as the confidence of the consumers. According to our survey, the hospitality sector is recovering and resuming their operations. Their revenue is increasing. The 20 key hospitality businesses that we have contacted have found the resumption rate over 70%. Of course, businesses differ, and the resumption of operation also varies. For example, for the catering sector, their resumption of operation is shown by the food deliveries. For Wuhan city alone, yesterday the food delivered reached 130,000. And also, we need to ensure the potential spread of the risks when the hospitality sector is resuming operation. Let's continue our Q&A. On the left, thank you, from China Daily. Recently, some provinces worked out the working guidance to reopen the tourist destinations and scenic spots. However, in some parts of the scenic sites, there have been crowded visitors. So how to address this problem? Mr. Liu, please. Yes, we have also noted this phenomena, and we are watching very closely the latest development. At the moment, at the subnational level, provinces are working on the orderly resumption of operation. For some scenic sites, they have orderly resumed their operation. For scenic spots, there can be crowded visitors and higher risks of epidemic spread. So, under the guidance of the local governments, the tourist sites authorities are evaluating or assessing the situation, and they should not adopt a once-for-all approach. For some high-risk scenic spots, they should remain closed. For scenic spots in the medium and low-risk areas, they can restart their operation after careful assessment and preparation. So yesterday, there has been a policy document released to instruct the relevant localities and get prepared for the orderly resumption of operation. This policy document covers various aspects of the reopening of the tourist sites. It is designed to facilitate the orderly resumption of operation. Thank you. Let's continue. On the left, on the third row, the third reporter, please. From Economic News Daily, it is reported that, or expected that, by mid-March, the epidemic might come to the end, but the winter sport season is also over. So how can the General Administration of Sport to help the businesses for the ice and the snow sector to develop? Thank you very much for your interest in our sector. Maybe I can use 3 comparisons to describe the situation. The first is the best snow season and the shortest business season. As you know, in some localities, this year is a very good year for the snow sport, and it could be a very good season for the winter sport. However, affected by the epidemic, many snowing fields have to be shut. And the second comparison is the investment in snow sport and the current situation. As you may know, now in China there are already 770 snowing fields or snowing parks for sports parks opened. However, because of the epidemic, compared with the traffic last year, the volume of visitors to these small sport parks have been reduced by more than 278,000 person times. The third comparison is about the preparation made by the snow sport or winter sport sector and the poor performance of these winter sport sector because of the epidemic. We are following very closely the situation, and we have adopted some initiatives. The first is further investment in the winter sport sector and increase the players or participants in the winter sport. And the second is we have worked out an action plan to encourage people to get more involved in the winter sport. For example, in the Beijing, there have already been subsidies offered to the traveling and the the winter sport facilities. And also we have made sound coordination to make these winter sport businesses also operate in other seasons. I'm sure the spring for the winter sport sector will surely come. Let's continue. On the right, on the third row, the first reporter. Thank you. From China News Service. Some netizens point out that there have been household service providers or part-time household service providers who are not able to work as in the past. So what can we do? Indeed, such services request the service providers to go to the households, and there is a higher demand for the disinfection and also the household services. We found in the epidemic that there have not been a strong increase in terms of the service demand. However, in reality, such service demand is huge. The Ministry of Commerce has try to help the sector to develop.
We organized the industry association and issued working guidelines on supporting homemaking industry. The matrons need to be quarantined and have to get the health license. These guidelines have supported the housekeeping and homemaking industry's proper running. Local associations have provided the business with protective equipment, quarantine places, and facilitated the implementation of supportive policies. Ministry of Commerce is also studying on the possibility of a survey system in which people can check the health status of the matrons. It can be based on a mobile app. Currently, this developed app can summarize the status, personal identification, whether she or he has a criminal record, their training history, and licensed by the matron service providers. The consumers and customers can check on the app to learn about the health status of the matrons. Recently, on this app, we have added a new module for health management of the matrons, and the service has been put online shortly before. Identified matrons can also have some self-check to see their status, and customers can check if the matron is a suspected case, confirmed case, or close contact, and the matrons can voluntarily present the information to the owner, to the customer, and such an app can ensure transparency of the information and facilitate the recovery of the homemaking businesses. Thank you. Next question, please, on the left side from the fourth row. Thank you. From Hong Kong, China Review. After the outbreak of the epidemic, many domestic travelers have been stranded in overseas markets. So what are the supportive measures provided to them? What is their current situation? I'd like to ask Mr. Liu Kezhi from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism to take the question. Our ministry paid great attention to the possible solutions. We began to learn about the status of passengers and tourists that were stranded abroad. We asked the tourist agencies to proactively contact the Chinese consulates and embassies to register the information of these stranded tourists. The relevant information were very quickly communicated with the administration of customs to ensure the safe return of these tourists. We, at the same time, stepped up the entry quarantine. Starting from the 24th of January, we've suspended the group tourism activities. Back then, there were 250,000 Chinese tourists that were stranded abroad. Given such a giant number, it was a big problem for us to deal with. How can we ensure their safe return to China in an orderly fashion? We collaborated with Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Civil Aviation Administration. We had chartered flights, the change of the flight, and they came back to China in an orderly fashion. During these efforts, we felt economic, psychological pressures were very much on the mind and heart of these Chinese tourists. They wanted to go back to homeland as quickly as possible, so we tried every means to arrange the returning trips. No matter how far away you are from China, your motherland is always behind you. So with the coordination with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Customs Administration. By yesterday, only 90 Chinese tourists are still abroad. Most of them have already returned to their motherland. Next question, please. With CCTV, we know that influenced by the epidemic, the first test tournament for the Winter Olympics has been cancelled. Will it lead to some knock-on effects? Is it still okay to have the test tournament next year? I'd like to ask the DDG Peng Weiyong to take the question. In accordance with the international practice, 10 to 24 months before the Olympic, test tournaments must be arranged. We have 20 testing tournaments on schedule, and the first one was scheduled in February, and the others will be arranged during the tournament season. Influenced by the epidemic, to protect the health of the coaches, referees, and also the team members, that one was cancelled, but for the others, they are still prepared according to schedule. There shouldn't be any further impact. We're also collaborating and communicating with international snow sports lines. We have some skiing tournaments arranged, and also the International Ice and Snow Sports Alliance want to arrange another high mountain skiing for the men team that will be held in Beijing. The Yanqing Skiing Center between the 16th and 20th of January, the 14th National Skiing Game was already held successfully in this newly built skiing track. During that sports, the International Snow Sports Alliance experts have actually seen the tracks, the mountain terrains, and the organization of the sports, and they were very satisfied with our arrangements. Beijing Olympic Committee has been implementing prevention control measures to ensure the health of relevant people. At the same time, orderly efforts have been made to ensure the infrastructure projects will come back to its full operation. And other preparation work is also underway. Important events and meetings have changed the way of holding. For example, the broadcasters meeting was held in an online fashion, and the Olympic Committee, International Olympic Committee, also participated in the meeting on the video conference. There was a high-level preparation meeting. Great discussion was entertained on the video meeting. In general, the preparation has been underway orderly, and there was no more impact from the epidemic. So I'm convinced that with the joint efforts, the preparation for the Winter Olympics will be completed with a high quality and timely. Thank you. Next question, please. From the right side, the first row. Thank you. From the Cover News, my question goes to the Ministry of Commerce. We know hospitality, hoteliers, and also homemaking industries have thought of some new ways to conduct a business, such as the delivery of food packages. What's your comment on these innovative business formats? What will be the measures adopted to stimulate the needs for consumption and satisfy such needs? I'd like to ask Director General Xian Guoyi from Ministry of Commerce to take the question. This epidemic has triggered new innovative business formats. We've noticed 4 major changes. First, the shift from offline to online business. The digital life services have seen major upbeat. Many businesses have developed their own digital platforms, or they are collaborating with big e-commerce platforms to expand business online, to ensure the orders are well delivered and to manage their logistics services.
Second, the standardization of the services has been improved. Many staple food kitchens serving the restaurants and the general public are improving. Just now you mentioned the takeaway services for the chef's recommendations. Indeed, such services are being increased rapidly. Certainly, we can see the merging of the catering sector. We can see many restaurants are supporting each other, and their businesses get merged. For example, the catering sector is offering the wholesales and retailing for the food delivery sector, and also the catering and the hospitality sector is providing beds and accommodation for the deliveries, the couriers. And also there are a lot of innovations like the direct ordering of food from the restaurants. For the consumers, they can minimize the risk of direct contacts with the restaurant staff. Furthermore, the businesses are optimizing their structures. For example, some housekeeping services found that the traditional housekeeping services are in slow recovery, and then they come up with innovations such as providing disinfection services to the company, to the business clients. Also, we found that the online training has already been the major source of revenue for the housekeeping services. Furthermore, the online businesses are providing services to the epidemic containment. Some of such services are provided free of charge. As far as we know, based on the available data, by mid-February, there have been more than 400,000 boxes of food and over 10,000 rooms free of charge to the epidemic containment. Such services can help to satisfy the needs of the general public and also promotes the recovery of the relevant sectors. They also demonstrate the new development trends in the sector. So the Ministry of Commerce is very supportive of such developments. We will help the sectors to realize the digital development and ensure the relevant reform measures are in place so that these sectors can quickly recover from the epidemic. Thank you. Let's continue our Q&A. On the left, on the fifth row, the first gentleman. Thank you. I'm from cctv.net. We found that the epidemic has made people keenly aware of the importance of health. So the sports sector is promoted. What are the specific measures? Thank you. Yes, indeed, the epidemic once again proved the importance of physical activities and stay healthy. Academician Zhong Nansan's video clip of body exercises has also inspired the people. The General Administration of Sport has worked out in a timely manner the video clips, encouraging people to have physical activities, and the home exercises. In Douyin, we have noticed that more than 2.6 billion times of broadcasting have been realized. And also, the Chinese women's volleyball team made a short video clip, which is very inspiring to the general public. In particular, they have the slogan, which is to stay strong, Wuhan. This is really encouraging and inspiring. Indeed, the epidemic has triggered the enthusiasm for physical activities, and this is especially remarkable in subsectors like online teaching of physical activities and sports participation. According to data, one of the sport events has attracted a huge number of viewers online. We are also facilitating the online sports promotion, and there are key smart sports events organized online, attracting people's enthusiasm for sports. I'm sure this will facilitate the development of the sport sector. Okay, last two questions. On the right, on the fifth row, the lady reporter there. Thank you. We noticed that while gradually opening the public places, the sport businesses remain closed. So how about the resumption of their business? Please identify yourself. Okay, I'm with Shenzhen Satellite TV. DG Peng, please. Well, it is fair to say that we are advancing the orderly resumption of operation in the sport sector or the sport businesses. The situation is diversified. In some provinces, the resumption rate is over 75%, while in other provinces, the resumption rate is only 30%. And also, for the businesses, their staff are not well in place. Also for businesses enjoy a high degree of online operation, the resumption of operation is better than the remaining ones. In the resumption process, we do find two major obstacles. The first is the key business is not recovering. For example, some sport events have been postponed or cancelled. So for businesses which rely on the sport events for their operation, this is really a headache. And secondly, we found that the dreams and the indoor sport facilities find it difficult to open their business. Another major obstacle is the staff is not in place. Throughout the supply or operation chain, the staff is not in place, which has affected the resumption of operation. So for the next step, we will follow closely the latest development, especially the solutions to the two obstacles. Thank you. The last question. On the left, on the fifth row, the third gentleman reporter. Thank you. With Dragon TV affected by epidemic, the public cultural places and the museums remain closed. So I would like to know what is the arrangement for their opening. Mr. Liu, to answer your question, please.
为应对这个新冠肺炎疫情
To respond to the epidemic, Ministry of Culture and Tourism have ordered the libraries, museums, art museums to suspend their business and operation since the 24th of January. And as they are closed, the museums and the libraries have promoted online museums, online theaters, and online library services to provide rich cultural services to the general public. It is fair to say that though they are closed offline, they are still open and even in full blossom online. This might be a great opportunity for a digital representation of our cultural products. We've also promoted the role of culture because it can build cohesion among people. We've organized artists to advocate on prevention control and to motivate and galvanize those who are working in the front line. Yesterday, Ministry of Culture and Tourism collaborated with other departments and issued guidance on the gradual resumption of libraries and museums. First, we emphasize the approach of risk-rated, zoned, and tiered. In high-risk places, the museums are still closed, and in medium-risk places, there will be gradual opening of the museums and libraries. However, a preparedness plan must be in place, including the monitoring of health status of the staff, the stockpiling of protection equipment, the disinfection and ventilation of the venues, and the better management and services for the visitors, including the visitor control, flow control, and temperature monitoring, and ensure a safe social distance. In principle, we do not advocate the offline lectures or performances where there might be a higher density of people. The Cultural Heritage Administration will also issue similar plans, emphasizing a risk-rated, zoned, and a tiered approach. Again, in low-risk areas, there can be the opening of libraries and museums. And in medium-risked regions, outdoor places can be opened gradually. Indoor museums are not yet to be opened. And in high-risk regions, in principle, we do not advocate the opening of museums, and they do not take group visitors. And in the approval of projects and approval of funding support, the archaeological sites and the rescue projects for the recovery and protection of cultural relics, projects like this must get adequate funding support. Health monitoring of the staff and the place ventilation disinfection must be ensured. Again, we need to stagger the visitor flows. Besides, the museums and libraries are requested to set up a working mechanism to make parallel efforts in prevention and control of the epidemic and the staggered opening of the museums. An exercise and drill is needed in face of a rebounding of the disease. Proper treatment can be made promptly. I'd also like to make an additional remark to one of the answer provided to question about the tourists coming back to China. The tourist guide plays important role. They have been comforting the tourists, and they played very positive role in leading tourists back to China. To award such compassion from the tourist guide, we will issue another notice to further protect the rights and interests of tourist guides, organize online trainings, and encourage the tourist associations to exempt their membership fees, respond to their care and concerns, ensure the supportive policies can be implemented, so as to ensure the stability of the tourist guides teams, so as to make further preparation.